Lecia Grossman, and I'm the founder of the zAmya Theater Project. And recently, zAmya Theater Project was asked to participate and help facilitate a conversation and forum in downtown Minneapolis that was sponsored by the Downtown Congregation on ending homelessness. We had to look at how are we going to engage this group, which we had no idea how large it would be, in having intrapersonal, interpersonal, and a group experience. Looking at the whole systems leadership module, I went through that and said, how can we use this information to be able to help us design the right questions, create an environment that would allow for diverse conversation, and to really allow an emergent system to happen, and finally, to really help the group embrace the uncertainty of the entire event. Reading that diversity is creativity actually helped open up for us too that these ways that we were using to create conversation that were very diverse were actually what would be the most stimulating for creativity. People that were coming to this forum had very different experiences with panhandling, had different opinions about it, and many people were looking at it as a problem while it's actually a symptom of a larger problem. We asked participants as they walked into the event to write down what they believed was the problem that created panhandling as something that happens on the streets. So the question that we actually ended up using, we went back and used the information from whole systems leadership. It's like, what makes a real good, powerful question? And tried to design them throughout the event. How we asked the audience to listen, to understand, and that they didn't have to agree. So setting that stage and the conditions for people to have a very different experience than who's right and who's wrong and how are we going to solve this today in this moment. Some people that were coming to the event expected a Q&A panel discussion. And for those people, for some, it was so divergent from a panel because they were actually having to participate that some actually left. And other people, especially the people that coordinated the event, this was very an uncertain situation for them also because they had never done anything like this before. They said that it was such an innovative way and that people talked to each other in ways that they wouldn't have normally talked because we had them up and moving around and working in groups, and we set the conditions for them to see that they are the solution and that we weren't standing up going to give them an answer.
Stumbled out of the desert, fell into the sea. I was tossed around and spit back out and landed on the beach. When I stood up, I noticed that I had nothing left. Nothing isn't all that bad if you get to carry less. Cause no one hands you a compass, no one slips you a map. But this ain't meant to bring you down, it's just a simple fact. I ain't passing judgment, I'm just passing through. I've gone as far as I can go, now the rest is up to you. It's always with you wherever. No need to get there it's always with you wherever you roam. No need to get there, you're already home. It's always with you wherever you roam. No need to get there, you're already home. Save some time for sorrow, 'cause it'll surely come your way. Prepare yourself for failure, it'll give you strength someday. Try to keep your mind open and accept your mistakes. Save some time for living and always question your faith. Could it be that this is all there is? Could it be there's nothing more at all? Save some time to dream, 'cause your dream might save us all. Cast your eyes up to heaven. Oh, what does that mean to you? Try not to be too judgmental, so others will not judge you. Save some time to think, oh, before you speak your mind. Many will not understand, and to them you must be kind. Could it be that this is all there is? Could it be there's nothing more at all? Save some time to dream, 'cause a dream might save us all. Oh yeah, a dream might save us all.
The zAmya Theater Project was founded 7 years ago by a woman named Lecia Grossman. She was like, I want to create something where people who have experienced homelessness can be the experts and people who are housed can create something alongside them. So she thought theater would be really fun and that would be a great way to do it.
18 while I was still in school. I tried to find work, but no one wants a fool.
The major project that we do is still this every year. One brand new original work that's collaborative. The majority of people in this show have experienced homelessness. There are a few who joined us in other ways.
I just think it feels good to let out something that's been hurting you for a long time.
And it's also fun to share my story and get it to the public and maybe help somebody that's maybe went through a similar thing that I did.
I think if people were to be more conscious of the homeless people and actually like have a conversation with them, maybe that's all they need. They don't need your money. Maybe they just want somebody to listen to them.
11 Iraqi civilians were killed that day, along with 3 American servicemen and 2 Iraqi militia.
So when he came home, he couldn't find a job and he was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
When you're homeless, you get low self-esteem. You think that nobody cares about you. You aren't anybody. You're never going to amount to anything. You know, and so being given that chance to do something different and perform and be applauded by it, it's just remarkable. It really helped in my process of recovery and and getting my life together. It really did.
I could not carry on, but then I found the courage to keep my head up high.
This episode of 3 Minute Egg is brought to you by the Minneapolis College of Art and Design, which wants you to know about its annual art sale November 20th and 21st. Learn more at mcad.edu.
No low-income housing.
Systems.
No jobs.
What I'm hearing up there is that there is no easy answer.
No easy answer!
zAmya Theater in the Twin Cities formed to give homeless actors and actresses a place to tell their stories. And they're here right now in the Black Box Theater at Central High School, where they're going to be performing for high school students and talking about the stories that led to homelessness. And some of the performers are still homeless. We're going to talk with people behind zAmya, people on stage, and find out how this theater penetrates the performers as well as the audience members on this edition of 3 Minute Egg.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You two know each other? Yeah, you could say that. You could say we live together. Well, George is homeless and lives in a shelter. Well, so do I.
We start each year by brainstorming a little bit about what's going on, locally or nationally in kind of the realm of homelessness and poverty, and what's the mood, and we pick sort of an angle to go at, and then we do workshops. We do community workshops. We do them at shelters and companies and schools, and we generate material and opinions, and then we work with a playwright. Playwright writes the script, and then we cast it, and then we rehearse it, and we tour it around again to schools and companies during National Hunger and Homelessness Week.
As a kid, nobody explained this to me. So it's like, Mom, no wonder I fear abandonment. Welcome to Caroline's Brain, issue number 1.
I was actually homeless last year, and I wound up living in a shelter, and I heard about zAmya through the flyers and everything, and this is something I needed. I'm a firm believer in giving away in order to keep it. So what better to have an experience as mine to be able to, go through the issues of homelessness and go through the system and not get caught in the system and then come out of it. So, it was difficult, yes, it was very hard, but the end result was, what I needed, and, the moneymaker. Man, it's so cold, gangbangers don't even mess with you in the wintertime. You can step, seriously, 30 below, you can step on a gangbanger's foot, and you can ooh, I'm gonna catch you in June.
Actually, I was joking around when I said I wanted to, but then I thought about it, something new, and the only way I'm gonna heal myself from the past is try something new, and this is new.
Started doing drugs, ripping around in the streets, staying up late. I had a baby that tested positive for cocaine. That was it for me. I lost all sense of track of motivations and morals that I had in life. But I got them back. I have some peace now that I'm sober. I'm able to go off to college, have my family, and move on with my life.
Our biggest challenge every year is going into these environments where people are not used to being reached out to in this way, and developing a trust enough to get someone to come to the first rehearsal. It's not about evolving it so much as it is providing the opportunity for a new group of people each time to go through the process of being able to be creative, being able to examine, experiences and tell their stories and share that, and then new audiences. Every year it's about bringing the awareness of what it can be to be homeless to a different, to people.
Ever since I moved here, everything has happened for me in slowly but surely. I'm part of an improv troupe. I'm part of some kind of comedy network. I'm back in school at Brown College for radio. Got married. Everything has happened slowly but surely, and it's like an uphill climb, and it's just getting higher and higher, and I just see good things coming out of this.
this is not my first time on TV.
I'm Dave, and I don't do no dancing.
Hi, I'm Hope, and I'm a homeless rights activist working to change the system because the homeless are occupying America on every city, in every corner.
H-bomb.
A who bomb? What bomb?
H-bomb.
A reality game show with $1 million prize. It's the American dream. Or is it just a dream? Maybe it's a revolution of the heart and soul. Televised.
Institutionalized. There's a simple beauty and freedom. You always know you need some. No tax to pay, no car.
Whether you're hiding out in penthouse free or residing in the big old penitentiary.
We're just showing the problem. We're fixing it on the real homeless.
Are you trying to start something with me or what? I didn't lose the mullet, but it sure left me.
You know, one day I showed up at the office, it was locked. Everything inside was gone. And all it took was one bad month. And I hit the bottom pretty hard. And I had no kinfolk up here, so I wound up at the Simpson shelter. And then another bad month, I'm in a place called Tramp with no truck. You know, it's hard to stop that slide down once it gets revved up.
With humor, drama, and a song and dance or two, we're cracking open the conversation that starts with real stories from homeless folks, but also speaks to how the current economy affects us all.
Now I got more man in my little finger than you've got in your whole body.
That's one thing to be faking being homeless, but the other to say you from Wisconsin.
The Reality Road Show, Who Wants to Be a Homeless Millionaire, inspires audience with words, wit, and definitely with wisdom.
Oh, wait a minute. You talking about the lottery?
Yeah.
Oh, no. See, now that program saved my man's life.
Well, they might have saved your man's life, but it's kind of like a crapshoot.
Because where I come from, they ain't got
Walking down the street, barely anywhere to sleep. Nowhere to go.
33.
Just out in the cold.
53.
Nowhere to sleep. Barely anything to eat.
Nowhere to go.
63.
Just out in the cold.
86.
Well, it kind of deals with, it's our latest edition. We do this annually at zAmya. It's our latest edition of our story and our issues that surround homelessness. Excuse me. It's basically, it's in the format of, I don't know if you're familiar with the old A Chorus Line movie, but the plot sort of is like these actors whom the director does not realize some of them are homeless show up for this audition for this play about homelessness. And ironically, at first he doesn't want to use them because he wants to use real actors that can make it real, until his assistant convinces him that you know, if you use actual homeless actors, it will be real. So it's like takes him through the process, the rehearsal process from beginning to end, and kind of during the way we use narratives to kind of tell the stories of the actors.
Now I understand a lot of this, the material for this play came out of some workshops that have already happened.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Yes, basically I'd say approximately 2 weeks ago, we went to different sites where homeless people tend to gather, like Catholic Charities this year. We went to places where homeless people don't gather, like Thompson Reuters,
and
Century College, and just got a base of people with different life experiences together, and we all sat around and talked about our views of homelessness and what brings people to that point in their lives, and we've put it all together, and we're gonna do a play on it. I'm really excited about it.
And kind of the unique thing about this, from what I understand, is you're examining it from both sides, from the homeless point of view, but also from people who may have never been homeless and maybe have very little knowledge of it.
Yeah, and that's why we have we choose diverse venues to hold our workshops. Kathy was at our first workshop at Century College, and we expected to see maybe housed people or non-homeless people there. And then you go to Catholic Charities, of course, you're gonna see a lot of homeless people. So we wanted to get to both viewpoints, particularly for this script, since the plot of the script would deal with housed and homeless and housed actors. So it was important to get both perspectives and go places where we could.
We worked together to bring along the theme of homelessness and how everyone could be affected. As you spoke about getting different perspectives, it's good to have perspectives of people who've never been homeless, because sometimes they have a valid point to make too. But it's also good to let them see that for most people, we're only 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless themselves. So this is a good time of the year to be made aware of that, with the winter coming up. And unfortunately, a lot of homeless people die during the winter because of lack of shelter and a lack of places to go. So it's a good time for everybody to become aware of homeless and of them, not only for themselves, but for those around them.
And that's the beauty of zAmya Theater, which is a nonprofit theater. They do these workshops, they get multiple community viewpoints, and we're also then, through the play performance, educating a lot of people about issues around homelessness that they may never even think about it or know about it or come in contact with it. And that's why we wanted to partner with zAmya Theater.
Now, to touch on that point, Kathy, you're representing the East Metro Women's Council. What is their involvement in this project?
Well, I do development, fundraising, community outreach for East Metro Women's Council, and we're a local nonprofit. We are located right behind Century College. We've been there for 20 years, and not a lot of people in the community know about us. And so as I was sitting there thinking at work, well, how am I going to, with East Metro Council's little tiny budget, how am I going to build awareness about what we do? And also advocate on the topic of homelessness, because we house homeless families. We have 34 apartments right behind Century College. Over 90 children live there, and half of them are under the age of 5. And this is a growing issue in our suburban community. We serve Ramsey and Washington County. So I had heard about zAmya Theater. A friend of mine had recommended them, and I checked out their executive director and talked with her and knew it would be a good fit. And I also knew bringing theater and entertainment to this topic, a high level of entertainment to this topic, was going to draw people in versus, let's say, having just a panel discussion. So then I decided, well, I'm going to talk to Century College. I need partners in this. And I also know the executive director of White Bear Center for the Arts, Susie Hudson, and they all wanted to come on board and participate. Immediately following, we've got 4 great panelists. Our executive director at East Metro Women's Council, who's been working with homelessness for over 12 years, is going to be on the panel. We've got someone from the Wilder Foundation on the panel who works with homeless families, someone from Washington County, and then a former East Metro resident she's experienced homelessness herself and is a Century College student right now.
Now, I
So
know
it's going to be very interesting.
Besides playing at Century College, you're going to be putting on the production at other various venues throughout the Twin Cities, but it's kind of interesting, I think, to have it here, where maybe a lot of people don't particularly think of the White Bear Lake area as having a lot of homeless people, but some of the stats you're giving me about the people you house, it surprises me. I guess you maybe think about it in downtown Minneapolis, downtown St. Paul, but not so much here.
It's an increasing problem all over Minnesota, including rural Minnesota, but also in the suburbs. You know, when East Metro was formed 20 years ago, a group of local women saw this as a growing problem. And so they formed East Metro Women's Council, and it was originally just for women, but our mission has changed to include all families. But we house mostly, it's 85% women with small children, because they are fleeing domestic violence situations. They're ending up in a domestic violence shelter with nowhere else to go but back to their abuser. So they need a place like East Metro where they can change their lives. It is a significant and growing problem in our Washington and Ramsey County.
And where are some of the other places that you guys are going to be putting on this production?
We'll be doing it a lot. Most of the shows, I got to say, are going to be private, but the big one, the public one that usually has the biggest turnout as far as the public is our last show. That's going to be at the Bedlam Theater. The artistic director there at Bedlam, Marin Ward, is actually the director for our show. with Lecia Grossman is our executive director. But yeah, because there are a couple of places, like for example, we actually put it on at Harbor Lights, Salvation Army Harbor Lights, and we're going to do it we always do it annually for Central High and St. Paul, the high school there, and those are not, the public's not necessarily invited to those, but we encourage everyone in the public to come to the Bedlam Show, which is the last one. So that's the one that we usually, and the interesting thing about our show is what we do is we always leave 15 minutes or so for a talk back after the show. So we raise these issues during the show, and then the public is invited to stay behind, to stay and just kind of sit down with the actors and the director and some zAmya members and just talk about the issues that were raised during the show. So that's a pretty good deal all the way around.
I can imagine it must be kind of interesting, given the various venues you're going. You must get quite a different crowd, say at Century College, than you're going to get somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting because you're exactly right. I mean, the talkbacks we always have, and depending on where we are, the talkbacks will focus on different issues. And this year, again, I can't stress this. I can't stress this enough. It's a special show because our actors, the cast is split right down the middle, housed and homeless. So the script really reflects a balance of viewpoints. And for Daryl and I think this is the first time we've had A, this many actors in the cast, and B, such a balance between housed and homeless. So that's a good thing.
And I really want people to understand we are looking for, at all the events at Century College, it's open to the public and it's free as well, so please come on down that night. We want to fill up that theater, and it can seat over 300 people. But it is about starting a dialogue. And whether you have an understanding of this topic or not, we want people to come out and feel comfortable asking any and all questions.
Receive entertainment. Tonight, the finest of ensembles will present for you a dramatic spectacular entitled A Random Selection of Everyday Americans, Act Before Midnight. Yes, Act Before Midnight. Tonight, we will present thematic delights on the topic of homelessness. Not entertaining, you say? Probably. But consider this!
I was recently homeless. All my stuff was in the garbage. Nothing rhymes with garbage. I don't know what to do now. Guess I walk around and read a book.
What a day, I'm so busy. I hate the bus because it's not pretty. This is a very stupid city. Here comes a guy and I'm scared.
I could really use a quarter.
go up to her and ask her.
Hey lady, nice lady, I need a quarter. Can you pay me?
I don't have a quarter, and I'm late for the dog show.
That's weird. I like dog shows. I used to judge them when I was younger.
I don't believe him. He's going to kill me. I'm so scared now. I could vomit.
Hey lady, nice lady, don't be scared now. I'm not Canadian.
I'm going to stand over here. She's going to stand over here.
Didn't you hear me, my dear?
I think it's perfectly clear. Oh, I should run now or I will die. This man is going to smoke some drugs. He probably kills cute puppies with thugs. When will he smoke all the drugs? When will he kill all the puppies? Drugs and puppies, save all the yuppies. Drugs and puppies, save all the yuppies.
I only wanted a quarter. Didn't have to dance about it.
Hello, I'm Walter Cronkite. I'm standing by live outside the Mall of Gargantua here in the city formerly known as Bloomington, Minnesota. As you can see, many of us are attempting to subdue what they believe is the Twin Cities' very last actual homeless person. Seems like kind of a hectic situation over there, Walter. It is. I am attempting to get an interview with the subject in question, but he appears to be quite fast and non-stationary. Oh, hello, sir. Can you tell me your name, please, sir?
Yeah, my name is Jim.
Jim, tell me, are you an actual homeless person?
Yes, I am. I want to stay that way.
Amazing! Tell me more about that. In the Twin Cities, in a housing type situation. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Don. I'm here at City Hall live with Mayor Nelson. He has prepared a statement for this momentous occasion. Mayor!
You don't speak to man. You don't speak to language man.
Never meant to cause you sorrow. Ow! I never meant to cause you pain. I only want one time to see you laughing. Woo! I only want to see you laughing in the purple rain, purple rain. Woo! Yeah! Purple rain, purple rain. Ah, no! Ain't it now, thunder now? At your local Best Buy store.
You know, people say that if you don't want to be homeless, you don't have to be. Do you know anybody who want to live like that? This guy doesn't live like that because that's his choice. He lives like that because he don't know how to get out. You know, I grew up in a very large family. 6 children. In my house, we didn't have that thing.
that they call a family table. You know, my mother died when I was 10 years old. Can you imagine? 12 years old. There's nobody in your life to tell you that it's time to come in the house. You need to get ready for school tomorrow. I couldn't go to school, so I had to end up leaving school. I had no friends, I had no family, nowhere to go, nobody to depend on. I mean, all the role models in my neighborhood sold drugs. They were pimps, owned liquor stores. So I turned to a life of crime. Drugs, alcohol, all that became my very best friend. You know, I was living so bad, got so my hair. My friends used to talk about my hair. They used to say that my hair was so nappy that it reminded them of police cars, you know. You just roll up and park anyway. But see, I went into a treatment facility. Stayed there 21 days. Remind you, I've been using drugs since 15 years old. What treatment center was going to fix me in 21 days? There was no way, so I do 21 days. They kicked me right back out into the street. All over again, the cycle starts. All over again. But with the new plan that's proposed, somebody came up with transitional housing. So I did 21 days in treatment, 75 days in aftercare, 2 years in transitional housing. Things got better. I got trained, went to school, had a job, a house, had a community. When someone cares about you, you know, things can get better. Things can take shape. Things can evolve. Believe me, I used to be that kid in the park.
Well, I'm glad we scared him out of the street.
Yeah, we want to scare him back into the water.
Yeah.
Just go.